Here is the absolute best and fastest way to Evo Jalen Duren in NBA 2K23 My Team. So obviously Duren starts off as a Sapphire, and I've got him up to an Amethyst right here. We have 44 points and 10 blocks out of his 25, and I figured I would just show you my method of the madness. The clips you'll see are before I have the 10 blocks with him, so just keep that in mind. But essentially with Jalen Duren, you are going to have to get points and blocks. And how it works is you'll have to go, 10 points, or 25 points, 5 blocks, and that'll be 50 points, 10 blocks, and you're up to 100 points, 25 blocks. And honestly, it's a pretty easy, pretty simple Evo. And when you finally get him up to diamond, you're gonna have a crazy good card. I mean, he gets an 84 driving layup. He's got some decent pass accuracy, 89s of both rebounding, which is really good for right now. 69 perimeter on a center or a power forward, but please run him at a center if you're gonna use him. Really good. 86 block as well, a 72 steal. He has a great driving dunk of a 90, awesome vertical and strength, and he has really good passing vision, I think, for a big man. And he gets 2 Hall of Fame badges, one being Rise Up, which is really cool, especially when you're looking at Jalen Duren. So I guess the ways that you're gonna want to use him, if you're using him in a general game, I think just getting blocks is honestly probably better run him as a power forward, but because he doesn't have shooting, we're gonna throw him in at the center. And I like running my Evo cards kind of together personally, but it shouldn't be too bad with Jalen Duren. Now, there's one way that you could run it, which I think is pretty easy, and that's running in clutch time, because you have a pretty low difficulty. I'm on tier 2, so I'm only in pro, and with clutch time, it works just like triple threat in that we can run a bunch of gold cards and actually make the opponents a little bit worse, which actually really helps because they basically match up the opponent to a similar level as you, just like clutch time. So what you can actually do is run 4 gold and then throw, Jalen Duren in, for example, and hopefully get some really, really weak centers that you should be able to baby, you should be able to pup, and it actually make it a pretty easy time for you, for being honest. But that's if you kind of want to do it that way. Some people maybe want to just, go about it. It's a pretty casual one that you can get. Jalen Duren's great inside and great in getting blocks, so it really is a easier Evo to do. And you can also run some coaches that can kind of help out his, I guess, dunking ability. You can see this one will just help out with some rebound, with some interior defense and stuff like that. Strength, which is also really good, but you can run maybe a grit and grind, which will help his finishing, and you can run a post-centric one as well, which is actually really good, and just helping him out. And I think if you actually run like a 7 seconds, you get some speed and some finishing as well, which is really good. So it's kind of just if you're looking like it, but I like to have this defense one just to make some a bit more of a force inside. It makes those blocks just slightly easier. And I guess the number one method that I would recommend for everybody to doing these is, aside from clutch time, if you want to do that, you can, is actually going to be triple threat, because you can run lineups like this. So Jalen Duren is a 6'11" center. So we actually have quite a few guys that we can run that are going to be taller than him. So anybody that's 7 foot or above, preferably a gold card, you're going to want to run in triple threat, because again, if you run higher cards in triple threat, you're going to go against higher cards, and that just makes it a little bit more difficult. But the reason that we're making Jalen Duren the shortest player, big emphasis on that, the shortest player on the team, is because now he's a point guard and is going to get matched up against other point guards in the actual game, which is huge, and it's beautiful. It makes it so easy. In the clips you're going to see, we're going to be against CJ McCollum, and I mean, we're talking about 6'11" Jalen Duren versus like what, 6'2", 6'3" CJ McCollum. It is such an easy time. So what I decided to run is Randy Brewer and Moses Brown. Moses Brown is 7'2", Brewer is 7'3", so both of those guys are above the 6'11" with Jalen Duren, and you essentially just have the freest of free. Now, sometimes you're going to go against a small forward at the PG and stuff like that, and it'd be a little difficult for you. And because you don't really have to care about your triple threat record, you could just back out of those and just keep resetting until you get a shorter PG. That's perfectly up to you. And you can also run higher level cards if you want to. It'll just make it a little bit more difficult for you, but it's all up to you and what you want to do. I just think that's the best method. But let me show you guys, once you're actually in game, what you should be doing to get the points and get the blocks and all that sort of stuff when you're actually, in the game, not just setting it up so you can have success. So here's what you want to do with scoring with Jalen Duren. So you can see with the method that we're using to get some easy guys, we have CJ McCollum up against us. So literally all we have to do is kind of back down to the post like that. Now, obviously, we can go for steals and stuff like that. That'll be in the section that's before this. But essentially, if you're just going for straight points, you don't really care too much about winning. You can kind of just give up some open or maybe bad shots. But because we're doing this method right here, where we are essentially making Jalen Duren our PG, you can see it right there. We now have CJ McCollum, who is his defender, so you can kind of just go into the post, maybe do a spin move, maybe a little hook shot here or there, and these guys can't contest you. Like, this CJ McCollum is literally going to put up not a single fight on Jalen Duren. Now, there will be some other times where you'll run into some harder defenders, or and you can just do what I just did right there, where you kind of just get a bit of a speed boost ahead of them, run up ahead, and I mean, this probably is one of the easiest cards in the game to score with in the paint, and it's probably one of the easiest methods to score in general. And you just mix these together, and it's literally just a cakewalk. You really don't even have to think too much. I mean, just give it to Jalen Duren, back down to the post, walk up to him, give him a little drop step just like that, and then boom, easy dunk. So if you're looking to get some easy and quick buckets just with Jalen Duren, no matter what it is, I think this is the best way, especially because he has no midi or 3-point shot really in the slightest. All right, so here we are with Jalen Duren trying to get blocks. Again, we're in the CJ McCollum game, and now this isn't exactly the most ideal scenario, but we're gonna kind of just let CJ hopefully run to the paint, maybe stand up. Oh, he's gonna run to the 3-point line. So that's not exactly ideal, and I do have takeover, which may make it a little bit easier for me. And you can see that CJ also is old, so he's also not the one that's grabbing the ball anymore. But you'll see right here, if we just, oh, okay, we can't have that happen. Maybe I'll just put him on Mark Jackson and try to get a quick foul right there, so we can I can show you what I'm trying to do here. So we have Mark Jackson, and essentially we're just kind of gonna let him run to the basket, and boom, boom, just little chase down blocks just like that. We're also gonna do the what is it, the points method that we just showed you, the super easy nitty gritty one. But yeah, that's essentially all we're doing with Jalen Duren. We're gonna let, he's basically playing our PG, or you can switch his matchup to whoever the PG is. You're gonna stand to a side that's gonna let him go inside, and if something like that happens where he passes it, all you have to do is run down to the paint and block the hell out of him. We're going against shorter guards. That's what makes this so easy of a method. He is, you know, the shortest guy on the court, and even if they decide to not run the ball, you can kind of stand out of bounds here, and it will allow those guys to run down to the paint. And I mean, just look at how easy this is. It's literally like we put Jalen Duren into a middle school game again, and the guy is just running around blocking a bunch of shots. Now, obviously, I have the Amethyst. He's got boosted up stats. He's a little bit better. He's got some extra badges, but the, I guess, general premise of this remains the same. Sometimes this will happen where you're a bit behind, but it doesn't matter because you have Jalen Duren, who can literally just bully his way through all these guys, and then boom, easy points, just easy dunks. I mean, it's really not even that bad. Let's see if I can get one last one before the game finishes. I mean, this is like the second half of the game that I'm playing at. We're just blocking everybody. We're gonna let CJ run to the paint right there, hopefully. Step out, let him get the ball. He's not getting it right now. Oh, he just wants to, CJ just wanted to shoot some threes. Oh, see, that'll happen sometimes. You're not going to get a block every single time. You know, it's just how the game works. But you can basically get a bucket every single time on these guys. But I mean, still, you get 2-3 blocks a game doing this method and not really focusing on it too much. We got, what is it, 5 in this total game, and you will be set. 5 in that. With the last, I think, 20 blocks you need, it's gonna go like it's nothing. So mix these together, and honestly, I think this Jalen Duren Evo will be the second easiest because Paulo's a little bit easier, but overall, it's a damn good one. So let me know what you guys think about this little Evo method and Evo tutorial. Obviously, we're probably gonna have some harder ones throughout the year, but just want to get into a habit of you guys knowing that I got all the Evo methods throughout the year for all these cards. So let me know what you guys think about this Jalen Duren card, how far you are when you're watching this video on Evoing him, and maybe what you're doing. Maybe you're keeping him, selling him, whatever it is. Let me know down in the comments. Like the video if you did enjoy, and subscribe if you guys aren't new to the channel. We're slowly working our way to 14 and 15K. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.